Perfect, I'll get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Shubham this side. I've been in the Web3 VC space for almost 3 years. And I'll just go around the table introducing our panelists. We've got Parth from Stan, Ishank from KGen, and Ishan from Glipp. And they're also building a game called Extremeverse. So thank you so much for joining us. Three seasoned founders building top quality gaming projects in India. So maybe we can just go around the table where each one of you can just introduce yourselves in more detail and talk a little bit more about your project.
So hi everyone, I'm Parth, not from CoinDCX like Ishan said, right? So I'm building Stan. I believe it is supposed to be the largest gaming community now in India. We've about 20 million gamers. You can find Stan on the Google Play Store and App Store. We've blended a bunch of stuff from Web 2 into Web 3. There are different reasons behind it, but it's an ecosystem of creators and gamers. And now, because we have so much audience hanging out together, game developers is the the third stakeholder which gets to enjoy the distribution side of it. So it's, in a nutshell, it's a hangout place for gamers. So you can equate it to Discord or Clubhouse, whatever. Yeah.
Hi everyone. My name is Ishank. We are building KGen. So KGen is on a mission to empower gamers to own their data, using which we want to create an alternate user acquisition and asset sales platform for game developers. So it's a two-sided platform where gamers as well as game developers can hopefully win together, and neither ecosystem is extractive on the other one.
Hello. Hi, I'm Ishan. I'm the founder of Glipp. We're building BTX Battle Extreme. It's India's #1 Web3 game. It's a mobile anime extraction shooter. And our ambition is to build a game which is as popular and as big as PUBG Mobile. So that's what we're on to right now.
Thank you so much. I think we'll start this panel with some alpha which our panelists can share. And I'll try to end it with some alpha as well. So guys, would be great if you could, you guys have been in the trenches for some time now. I'm sure you all have been following the meme coin frenzy to following different tokens. So if you all could just share some alpha here, what really excites you in the meme coin space, and in fact, even in the gaming space right now. Ishan, you want to start with that?
Okay, this is a tough question. I thought I was joking with you during the backstage conversation, but thank you for bringing it out here. So I actually see a lot of familiar faces in the audience, and I believe they can give us a lot more alpha on the meme coins. But I'll take a punt on it, right? So guys, this is not financial advice. Please do your own research. I can talk about what I'm hearing when I am walking around in my own office. Is that fair? So this is not about memes that I own or I'm suggesting any of you should buy. But I hear a lot of people are just blindly aping into Murad's list. So that has worked out well for some people. So if you want to do that, I think within that SPX 6900 and Giga are the two I hear in the office all the time. I'm looking at you guys, so please not know. So clearly I'm wrong, right? one meme coin that somebody sent me 3 nights ago at 2 a.m. Was Bully. Dolos the Bully. Have you seen it? AI meme coin? Bro, I clicked on it at 2 a.m. It was trading at 7 cents, and I clicked on it at 5 a.m. I don't know why don't ask me what I was doing at 5 a.m. At that time, it was already 21 cents, and the guy had sent me another message, hey, take some profits. I like, bro, I never bought it, right? But yeah, lots of fun things happening on meme coin.
Anything on gaming, Ishan? Any gaming token you're excited about?
So, gaming tokens, that's a good question. I like to split the space into 3 parts. And if I had to sort of try to draw a framework, Ishan might help me do a better job. But there's the infra layer in gaming. And there is obviously the games themselves, right? But there is a layer of projects, which is where I put projects such as Ronin, KGen, IMX, which sort of straddle between the two spaces across infra and application. So I think on the infra side, all of you know the usual suspects. On the application side, if you go by the recent trends, there are multiple launchpads that are going after a bunch of gaming tokens. As you might have noticed, I'm refraining from using specific token names because I don't want to go there.
Tell me outside.
Yeah, I'll tell you outside. So, but long story short, if I was in the audience, I would take a punt on people who are building in the gaming infra space and on projects where you know good quality teams are building on the game side as well.
Ishan, yeah, please.
Yeah, I think on the game side, games that I personally like, crypto games are Parallel, Pixels. That's about it. And then on the on chain publishing side, I personally like Ronin. I think they are. They have a large. I mean, we are partnered with Ronin as well, and we actually gave up a large amount of money with other chains to go ahead with Ronin because they have real distribution because of Axie and then Pixels and a bunch of other projects as well. So I'm personally bullish on, like, if I had to pick these 3 projects which live tokens, I would pick these 3.
Makes sense. Parth, you want to go ahead?
So I have a very different perspective to all this. I mean, I've been having these conversations with a lot of people who call themselves consultants for tokenomics and everything. And I have this first question. Can you suggest me a token in the gaming industry which has worked really well? And everybody comes back and say, I have 2 which are supposed to get live, right? Nobody is telling me something which is already live. So I think, like, what I personally believe in is there's no project till now which has actually solved for the true gaming audience. Ishank was telling that there is the infra side, there is the consumer side, right? And Stan is basically solving for the community angle of it. I mean, people ask us, when are you launching your token? So I just have the same answer every year, that I can lose the reputation in just a day, which we've spent 3-4 years to build on. And I don't want to do that very easily. So till I have that clarity, only then I can jump into it. And I think it is something which is important, because how are you solving for the UX? So we are building on Aptos. I know it's not on the front foot as Ronin in terms of gaming industry, but we've liked them. So far it's been pretty good because of the UX. Because the UX is something which is actually very important for a gamer. We personally, like me and my team and all the creators, so I hang out with a lot of YouTubers who play games day in, day out, and they are like, we don't want to go to another website to log in and create a wallet and come back to the game and then get lost at whatever I'm doing, right? That's the conversation we were having just before the panel. So I think we've solved with all of this with Aptos so far, and it's been pretty good. So I'm game on whoever is doing, like, there's KGen coming up, Ishan's building an amazing game. I think whoever is solving for the gamer in the true fashion will pick up.
Thanks so much, Parth, Ishan, and Ishank. My next question, so we spoke about how diverse your projects are. You all are building using different infrastructures. And in fact, over the last 2-3 years, you all have pivoted, tried multiple projects, and in fact built across the spectrum collectively for Indian gamers and some global gamers as well. What's been your key learning about the Indian market? Parth, you want to start with this?
Sure. I mean, when we put that crypto hat, we always say that India is not the market. I think that's the sentiment which I keep hearing whenever I'm in the global events. But whenever we are wearing the gamer's hat or coming from the gaming industry point of view, everyone loves India. We have 500 million plus gamers in India, and that's like a crazy potential to unlock. And everybody is excited to see how blockchain is helping, boost retentions, ARPUs, and everybody have their own thesis around it. But I think the last couple of years, we have seen a lot of games come and go. Everybody says the same thing, that the content sucked, the game was bad. I keep hearing from infrastructure building projects that at one stage we are telling the game to use our infra, and we inside ourselves, we know that after a week this game is going to go off. Like it's going to shut because the game sucks. Everybody is forgetting the game. I mean, that's been the past couple of years. and it's totally opposite with what these guys are building, who always think game first and then Web3 economy second. And now it has been a very clear picture that people are segregating the two, keeping it to at a distance, that there's a gameplay and there's a Web3 economy behind it. I think that has been solved. Second is we've got, India is a mobile market. We all know that, right? Whatever we started in the beginning was all web, SDKs, and democratized tech solutions to kind of plug in, and nobody was able to solve for the easy onboarding of gamers into the blockchain world. I personally believe we have to take Web3 to the users, not bring users to Web3, right? That is my perspective, because I don't want to send my gamer to a GameFi project and tell him to go and click and mint money. It should be opposite. He's playing the game, throw him some Web3 layers inside the game so that he kind of likes to just go crazy around it, and likes to keep some rewards and airdrops and tokens, and keeps playing and enjoys the content. So I think the easy onboarding and keeping things separate and keeping with the vision of that game first and economy second is something which has worked now. And now whatever projects we are seeing live are the ones who are actually the sustainable, good content projects which are live.
Ishank, please.
No, that's a solid answer, man. I would like to say, I think at some level this is building on what Parth was talking about. Firstly, I want to clarify that one of the biggest learnings for us, which was very intuitive when we started building KGen, but it's become even more real every day, is that gamers, real gamers, don't care about Web 2 or Web 3. Gamers want to come in, play a game, and have fun, right? And interestingly for us, KGen has now been in LATAM as well for almost 18 months, and this insight is almost global. If I had to zoom out, I would say at least across the global south, we are seeing the same pattern, right? If the game is fun, people will engage, people will go down the loops. And that is where the segregation of what we loosely call community comes into play, right? When people say community, it's just one community, but I don't think it's one community. You have the speculator community, which is interested in token buying, maybe the nodes meta, finding ways to make money from the games, and then there is the gamer community, right? And I think more and more project founders globally are starting to realize that this is even more prevalent in India. Because in India, these two communities tend to be starkly different sometimes. A lot of real gamers have been onboarded into Web3 by what Parth was talking about a few minutes ago, right? Which is adding layers on top of existing Web2 games, or by creating the right level of competitive dynamics on existing Web3 games. So when you excite people, they enter the ecosystem, they become part of the community. Else, you will have a beautiful community built around the speculative audience, which may be very useful for DeFi, but I don't know whether they will add a lot of value in the long run in the gaming space. I think the last point that we've learned about India is that there is a very beautiful journey in which you can start bringing these two communities together and increasing the intersection itself, right? And that is where platform design, game design, and loosely speaking, tokenomics design can play a role. So India is a unique market, yes, but from a core human insight level, I think gamers are more similar with each other across countries rather than thinking of it as a fragmented market such as India or a Bangladesh or a Nepal. I'm talking about South Asia, right? Or mixing it up that, hey, you know what? Nigeria is very different from India. You know, deep inside, for a real gamer, not so much. What might change is the platform, what might change is the genre, what might change is the forum in which they interact with each other. But deep inside, gamers are gamers first.
Ishan. Learnings.
India is a super hard consumer market, especially in gaming, because you, as a builder, you're competing with global products. It's not like you can build an Indianized PUBG or an Indianized Free Fire or an Indianized Clash of Clans, and suddenly people are going to come and flock. So it's super hard. You're competing with global products, And when you bring in Web3, it can add a lot of noise to your building process. I mean, consumers don't care. Consumers don't just want a product which they can engage with. As a market, I think India is great for Web3 gaming because real money gaming is already our biggest category within gaming, and Web3 gaming is kind of like real money gaming. The incentives, the intentions are very similar. So the market is there. We just need great products, and there is some fear around regulatory forces, but I don't think we should be scared of those because, I mean, if you see real money gaming companies are thriving in India, especially after all the tax changes as well. They're still able to maintain a healthy bottom line. So massive, massive market. We just need to build great products in this market.
I think we all agree that India is a great market. The last cycle, gaming cycle, was actually dominated by games like Axie, where it was driven by the gamers in Southeast Asia. Do you think India can lead this cycle, or are we still too early? And at the same time, what would be the key growth drivers over here?
See, I think if you ask me if there's going to be another Axie, I don't think so, right? So we've learned that gamers are predominantly looking for three things. One is relationship, like we all talk about this word community, right? People are, at the end of the day, they're having fun playing games. They want to hang out, they want to make friends, right? How can we bring that relationship angle and solve it through blockchain? That is one thing. Second is incentives, like Ishan was mentioning that all this real money gaming wave, in spite of the GST and stuff, is kind of playing out well because we Indians and not just Indians, I think everybody wants incentives in life. Making money or making like in-game assets or anything, like getting rewarded for my time and wallet share, right? So and a lot of people have till date focused on incentives more, like we keep hearing about all these airdrops and all, right? But still I believe the true value sharing has not got unlocked. Like a simple example is if I'm playing a game of, let's say, Candy Crush. That's what my wife plays a lot, and then she's always watching ads to get those free gems, right? Can I get that money shared with her whenever she's watching ads in the games, or share it with the publisher? And there's like a lot of value that still can be unlocked with blockchain. So there's relationship, there's incentive, and the third one, which is actually the first, it's this identity of a gamer, right? I mean, I remember talking to somebody in the Web2 space, like a biggest publisher who's got the famous title in India. I don't want to name. You guys would easily guess it. So I said that these guys are playing like hours, and they can't flaunt their profiles anywhere. So the most fundamental thing which everybody got excited about when we started with blockchain was, can I see my identity on the chain? And it can be a universal identity that I am playing, COD Mobile, I am playing Axie, I am playing PUBG Mobile, and I have won these many assets, and I have my... And then people started thinking soulbound tokens and all of that, but still that's not played out till now, but it has to play out. So I believe the games which are actually solving for the content and on the side solving for these three pillars, relationship, identity, and incentive, I think that's the title which is gonna like max out.
Thank you. That's a very good segue into KGen because we are solving for 2 and 3 and hopefully with our community model 1 as well. But yes, I really, that's beautiful. So I would argue at some level, the Indian gaming community and the Indian speculative community is already playing a meaningful role in Web3. We're probably not as loud as the rest of the world. That's how I see it. I feel like there is a huge army of silent contributors, and with platforms like what Parth is building, with games like what Ishan would build, I am sincerely hopeful that the value of India's contribution to this space will become more and more apparent to the broader ecosystem. So for me, it's not about whether or not. In my head, at some level, it's already playing out. We just need to be able to see it more. Now, on the second part of your question, Axie was a beautiful experiment at the right place at the right time, and Ishan can talk more about the deeper insights because he is working closely with the Ronin team. But as an observer and as an operator in the space over the last 3 years, at some level, I believe that the game went above and beyond what the team that built it even thought was possible. And that is the power of bringing different stakeholders into the value pool. Because if you look at the world of Web 2, at the risk of sounding politically incorrect, I would like to share that, during the lockdown, I was playing a lot of Clash of Clans. And I used to play Clash of Clans with my cousins all the time. And the leader of our clan was a 14-year-old. And he would send out instructions every night. Hey, bro, you need to attack base 5. Hey, you need to attack base 4. And then we were losing a lot. So this other cousin of ours came up and said, bro, we need to buy some higher THs. Let's buy some TH14, TH15 for troop donations. So we actually went out, and from the secondary market, we actually made those purchases. I don't know if any of you have ever made a secondary purchase in a Web 2 game. It's crazy. You're literally sending money to somebody in the world, hoping that you will get the account code. There's no transparency, none of that, right? Now, if you add this anecdote to what happened with Axie, Axie was the first time people who were gamers, who cared about owning assets, trading assets, got a chance to do it with transparency in a clean way. Now, one could argue clean in the sense of UX, etc. That's not the point here. The point is I could tell that it's going to this guy, not Parth, but his wallet, and he will send me the money, right? That went on steroids the first time. Now game developers are much smarter because they realize that money cannot just keep flowing out of the ecosystem. Money also has to come into the ecosystem. And I believe there are games like Pixels, for example, who are trying to bring money back into the ecosystem as well, right? And very actively. So I have a different view to what Parth said. I truly believe there will be massive games that will come out. It's a matter of time, but the economic models will definitely look different than what we saw in the previous cycle. But that does not take away from the fact that there will be a mega title, and the day that happens, the entire GameFi space will rally with it.
Yeah, I think a lot of successful Web3 games, in my opinion, will come from Asia, and there is among the Asian game developers, there is pretty positive perception of crypto as compared to game developers in the West, and I mean, like basically what Ishank said, like we are going to see those big titles coming out soon, and hopefully we'll be one of those.
Yeah, Ishan, you spoke about a lot of Web3 games coming from Asia, but I'm just curious to know each one of yours perspective on, do you see Indian games and Indian gaming platforms tap into the global audience and become dominant players? Are we already doing that, or when do you see that happening? Maybe you can start with you. Like in Indian games and Indian gaming platforms dominating the global audience and global markets.
I don't think there's any example. Is there any example of any?
Yeah, I mean, there are a bunch of studios that have made a lot of money, right? Play Simple, for example, has made a lot of money outside India. So,
Okay, Web 2 also.
Web 2
yeah,
there.
Web 2 as well, yeah.
Yeah. Play Simple is
so-
the biggest example.
Correct, but sorry, I'm speaking over you. But to answer your question from my vantage point, I am extremely bullish on Indian developers because there are two aspects to this. Indian developers building for the world, and the second aspect is global developers, including Indians, building for Indians, right? And let's look at both of those sets, right? Indian developers building for the world has always happened, will continue to happen. I don't see any problem there. Indian developers building for India, that is linked to the depth of the Indian market itself, right? Now look at IAP data, and you can keep me honest. If I remember correctly, 2017, the Indian IAP market was about $50 million. And 2024, the Indian gaming industry outside of RMG is projected to be somewhere between $1.5 to $2 billion. Now, mathematically, since you're better at math than me, that's almost a 30 times jump, right? Did I do the math right? Yeah, so 30 times jump. 30 times in 7 years is not a small feat for any category, any country, anywhere in the world. And for a country as meaningful as India, what you also have to remember is that my parents' generation, my dad plays chess for 2 hours every night. My mom is level 3200 in Candy Crush. If you tell them to pay money in a game, they will slap you. Me, not you, right? But when we started playing games, I was playing, like I told you, Clash of Clans. Even though it was my cousins paying me, but ultimately I was the one making the payment, right? So I had it in my head, ki theek hai, it's fun. It's a good activity. It's like paying for entertainment, right? So paying in games is normalized. Now look at Gen Z. I believe a lot of you guys might be Gen Z, so I'm talking about it broadly as a category. People who are more and more digital natives, for them it's an obvious thing that paying for entertainment or paying online is a normal thing. For the longest period of time, my parents' generation did not feel comfortable doing internet banking because they were told that somebody will hack into your account, right? Because if you go put your password on a browser, if you click on save, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, the journey from 50 mil to whatever, 1.5 B, it's taken 7 years. I am extremely bullish on the Indian market growing in size as well, and therefore the Indian developers who were building for outside India will continue to build, and they will now start building for India. And that's why even at this conference, and I think all of you were, or most of you were at IGDC a month before this, or not even a month, 2 weeks before this, you will see a lot of global developers are coming into the country, right? So all of these trends are in front of us. The short answer to your question is 100%. I think Indian developers are going to play a huge role.
So I think if you ask me, Indian content blowing up in the global market, there are two, like Ishank was telling in the beginning, there are two cohorts. One is the speculation cohort, which is probably a gamer or not. The other is a true gaming cohort who wants to play games and have fun and do blah, 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 right? So for the first one, if you are noticing what we've seen with Telegram games in the last 6-7 months, I think it's about 22% of the market share of new games launched have been, using Telegram as the obvious choice for distribution. But all those are casual genre games. I think probably building those titles sitting in India for the global market is simple and it's easy to do, right? But those titles might have the second cohort and first cohort interested. If the content is good, the gamers cohort would like it. But I think most of the Telegram games are more speculation cohort playing, right? Now, if you go to the real gaming cohort, which is the guys, if you see the popular titles in India, it's like shooter games, it's in casual, we have our Ludos, right? And Candy Crush. I think building that kind of content sitting in India is still kind of like picking pace, and that requires enormous amount of good talent and dollars to spend. And I think Indians are now seeing dollars getting pumped. Like Ishank was mentioning that in Hyderabad, this was a very different IGDC. I would tell every one of you who loves gaming, you should visit IGDC in Hyderabad. I think the difference, what we saw this year was all the Japanese guys, Korean guys, US guys, they are traveling to India for the gaming cohort. Like they want to see games flourish from India for the global market. But that is a slow process. Whether Web3 would enable it, we would see with time, but we are all bullish about it. But for sure, the first cohort, which is the speculation games, I think there are a lot of developers spending time. I hear a lot of people asking, ki, bro, Stan Pe, you have 20 million gamers. Can I put a Telegram game in your app and we can just blow up? This is a crazy idea, how these egg drops and stuff is happening. We can just make money overnight. But the answer is simple. What has happened cannot probably recreate if you just plug in there, right? But still with Stan, we are working together with a lot of developers to really solve for distribution, because we have seen a lot of games which are pure good quality content don't reach audience, don't reach masses. I think spending a lot of time with these YouTubers like the likes of Carrie Minati and, Mortal Scout, Jonathan. What we have learned personally is what everybody calls KOLs in the Web3 world. These guys definitely help you get to the masses. And on Stan, these people have built great communities. So we are trying to help any game dev who is building good content. They are launching on Stan through these community channels and clubs, which is the hangout place. And we would see like these games, some of these games could pick up in the global market as well. But speculation would be faster, but the pure content would be slow.
Thanks a lot for all the answers. I just have one last question. It's time for some alpha. When token for each of you and any alpha, please share alpha with the audience. How do you farm it? How do you get access to the token whenever you launch it? Ishan?
When token, maybe sometime next year, you can just play the game and there's a leaderboard and you can rank up on that leaderboard to earn badges, collect badges, and that'll help you get allocation in the airdrop.
When is KGen token coming?
I don't know why that.
Where can I get the early allocation?
Okay. Obviously, as you're more than aware, there is no specific date that I can give out, right? But if all goes well, we are looking to do it early next year, right? That would be ideal for us. And how do you get access to it? KGen.io. Just be part of the community. Whatever rocks your boat. You enjoy playing, come play. You enjoy leading, come lead. You enjoy doing other things, look at the platform, and I hope you will find something out there. And if you have feedback for us, we have a huge team here at IBW, so please come talk to us, share your feedback, and tokens coming soon.
For Stan, I think we are sitting at 20 million gamer base, about more than 100K active creators, influencer base, which has about 500 million plus reach across Stan, YouTube, Instagram. So you would imagine that the ecosystem is there. We could just go out there and switch it on. But like I said, reputation gets lost in a day. So we are being calculative about it because I really want to have a sustainable utility-backed token coming out, which is probably making true value shared with the gamers. And while gamers are also having fun around speculation, but it's still a long-term play. So that is why we might be out there in the next year or we might not be. I still don't have the answer. But in terms of the community getting the true value, I think that is already getting propelled in the form of Stan coin on our platform. So if you really love playing games and hanging out with your YouTubers or content creators, or you want to build your community, you can find us on the Google Play Store, like I said, and Apple Store. And if any of you really has cracked gaming tokenomics, please reach out. I want to sit with you guys and get your tickle your brains about it. Obviously, I'm doing that with these two.
Superb. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining us, and hope this panel makes you a little more bullish on the Indian gaming market. Thanks to all the panelists. Thanks for your insights, and have a great day, everyone.